I have a problem with Generation Z.
The Gen Z. Gen Z.
Gen Z are the least resilient generation that I've ever seen.
To become ultra successful, how should be my morning routine?
So when I say Islamic way of life, this is very important that we stay away from this kind of bullshit. More important than talent is perseverance and discipline.
सर आजकल जो यंग जिंजी है वेपिंग कंसेप्ट बहुत ज़्यादा आम हो गया. How does vaping affect the brain?
Young parents, you will become a parent at some point. You don't cover up for the kids. That's very important. You see something wrong, you fix it there and then. Don't cover up.
कम सोने से ब्रेन पे क्या इफेक्ट पड़ता है?
Not the way खबर को लगी Christian. That in my mind, I'm always the best. So you surround yourself with a very good one.
क्या ज़्यादा फ़ोन यूज़ करने से या स्क्रोलिंग से हमारी बॉडी पोस्चर इफेक्ट हो सकती है?
Munga kepala jika muna nasti. Munga adalah bata masta nasti.
Who is Dr. Adnan?
Dr. Adnan is a rising neurosurgeon of Peshawar, and he will be one of the best neurosurgeons that this country will produce. I'm still in the process of learning. I'm not leaving the seat to anybody. He's very motivated. He's confident. He's been trained appropriately by some huge names, and he's not going to do wrong things. And he is ready to fight the system, but in a different way. It's a long battle, and he doesn't care who comes in the way.
You just come here for the fight.
I'll come for a war.
Yeah, and that is great. So what inspired you into neurosurgery in the first place?
So this question I've been thinking about for a while. What inspired me? So there is a big name in our family, and his name is Professor Tariq Khan Hashim. He's one legend of a neurosurgeon. Okay, he is among the pioneers of neurosurgery in KB. So there was always this thought in my family that, if you want to become a doctor, become somebody like him. That's one. So it was always at the back of my mind that, I want to be somebody like him. I never saw him working. Neurosurgery never occurred to me when I was a medical student like you. I was attracted toward neuroscience, but I probably never learned it appropriately the way you don't give it the kind of respect it deserves as, even now, because it's complex, and not even our teachers, they also are. They're lacking enough depth of knowledge. We don't know it very well. First, my interest developed in surgery when I went into an orthopedics surgery in KTH. And when I was inside the ward, it was the first time that I attended and, assisted in surgery. That was when my interest in surgery in general arose, and I like to be in scrubs. I like that attire of a surgeon, though I was wearing the worst scrubs of the world with, a wide neck, and somebody else had been wearing it for a while, but I loved that. And somebody took pictures, and, those kind of things kept them going. That was my interest. Then I started in general surgery.
So how do you feel at that time, the first time?
That was the time that you felt that you could do something. That was the first time that I felt that, okay, this is what I want to. This is what I want to do. That's how I want to carry myself as a doctor. I don't want to stay in a clinic seeing patients. I want to work with my hands too. And then after that, when this, passion kind of developed over time, then I went to general surgery. I removed my first appendix, and one of my colleagues who was already in general surgery, his name is Iftikhar, he and Irfan, another guy, so both of them were like a year ahead because I was working on USMLEs. So they used to tell me, okay, that's how you do an appendix, and then he would leave me alone on an appendix, and I would take it out, but mostly unsupervised. But yes, this is how I started surgery in general. Then I went to the UK. I started emergency medicine. I was not fitting into emergency medicine. My mind was somewhere else. Surgery. I wanted neuroscience. And all of a sudden, a post had arrived, had come onto the advertisement, and I learned from some of my colleagues and friends in Hamad General Hospital that there is a neurosurgery residency there. And all of a sudden, I don't know how I got guided to that neurosurgery. I want neurosurgery. But I think a combination of these past events, they got together, and the fact that I wanted to do something which is more complex than general surgery, with all due respect to my general surgery colleagues, but and I don't want to deal with colon and intestines and all that kind of rubbish. I'm sorry. So praise, prestige. It's beautiful. So it just excited me, and I just went on. And when I started my residency, I was naive. I didn't know how to conduct myself, honestly. And then I went to the war and started assisting, and then I just loved it. And it's never, it's been a story now.
It's a long journey.
Exactly.
Sir, did you always want to become a doctor?
No.
So what was your wish early in your life?
I wanted to be a fighter pilot. I even appeared in ISS. I didn't appear in ISSB. I went to the psychological tests and the entry tests in the Pakistan Air Force. So it's very funny actually how I joined medicine in the first place. So I was in Army Burnham College, and I took second position in metric. Nobody knew me. I was short also. And I just appeared on a stage. Suddenly there's a guy who came first and I came second, and nobody knew me, and then everybody knows me. Okay, who's this guy? Who's this short guy? So then so I was short, and then adolescence, and then you know my growth hormone probably started hitting, and I changed. I transformed from somebody short to a bit medium height. So then everybody knew me. My father said, "What do you want to join?" I had scored 98 in out of 100 in maths. So that makes me a very good candidate for engineering and physics. I had a better 94 or something score in physics. I scored 81 in biology.
It was fine and Brussels. What are you?
In biology, I had left a complete question of 12 marks. I didn't realize that I did a beautiful paper, and then I suddenly realized, oh, you left a question. My father just went in, and he submitted my documents without much of a formal talk with me, and he said that I've submitted your documents in pre-medicine. I said, fine. That's how I joined pre-medical, so I don't know how I got into pre-medical. And I was a hardworking student. So I never, looked back since grade 4 onwards, grade 5th, I'll say. I never, went out of the first 3 positions of the class. Most of them were first, and sometimes second, but I never went out of it. So my mother is a big rule. So that's how you become obsessive, and then, the journey started. I appeared in PAF, Pakistan Air Force, entry test. So, there's I don't know what they call it, preliminary test. And I knew that I'm wearing glasses. So I knew that, you need to have a perfect eyesight, probably not that much now, because now you can have your eyesight fixed. So at that time, it was a major issue. I went without my glasses. I was obsessed for that. I wanted to appear, and I really did very well at the test. I was examined for my eyesight by saying, somebody's not very educated, but she wants to get the job done. And it was not a doctor, but somebody like compounder or somebody, helper. He asked me, what is it? And I learned everything by heart, and kept on telling him this, and then he gave me 6 by 6. It was not 6 by 6. Well, 6 by 6 by 6. So that happened, and then he examined, and then I passed everything, and they sent me a call for ISSB. At the same time that I received a call, I received my result for the, what you call MDCAT. There was a test, and they said, you're selected in Khyber Medical College. So my father said, I asked my father, what should I do now? He said, fine, you're selected. You should go to KH6 Khyber Medical College. That's it. So I didn't go to the ISSB, but I wanted to be a fighter pilot.
Sir, you mentioned your mother. What role did your parents play in shaping you as a person?
And so whatever, they're my maker, everything. Okay, so my mother, she, whatever I am now, as a person, she has the biggest part. She educated me till class 5. She instilled that competitive behavior in me, I'll say. That, there's no second, there's only first. And I still I'm like that. So math, till now. Competitive, very, very competitive. So I'll go to any extent for that. So that's one. And so I've reached this stage largely because of, my mother's her prayers and hard work, and it's all that shows up. My father, he's my biggest motivator. So whenever I'm down, he picks me up. I'll put it this way. He's my friend also. So I'll tell you a very simple example. So my mother knows that I've come back. I'm kind of successful and doing very well. So now she says, okay, if you don't want to go for any further exam, that's fine with me, you're done. I thought, said no. So there was an exam called a PAR-CS, Pilot Prague College. So I've taken the part one and I thought, I'm a neurosurgeon, I don't need it. So I had almost a find as my father. He said, okay, fine, this is what he said. He says, it's just because of him. I didn't want to take it. I didn't need it. But he says, no, I want the PAR-CS on the board. I said, okay, for you, I'll do it.
That is great. So, I'm going to twist the whole conversation now. How many brain surgeries have you performed?
So I think I have so far performed on the count maybe around 1900 to 2000 cases. That's probably a reasonable number, not more than that, but not less than that also. In Pakistan, so far I've maybe done close to, I've been here for 2 years now. I've got lots of problems, as you're aware of some of the problems. So it's been difficult, but yes, I've got a reasonable practice. I think I'll make it better. Things will progress. But I think I've done close to 500 plus cases so far in Pakistan.
I think it's a lot of cases in just 2 years.
I think I can do more, but because I've got problems, I don't have a very organized team, I'll say. If I get an organized team, I think I can easily push to 500 to 600 cases a year. So, and I have the stamina to do that.
That's still a huge number.
Oh, I can't do that.
Sir, आप एक great neurosurgeon किस तरह बनते? Is it talent? Is it hard work? Or is it just luck?
Great neurosurgeon तो मैं अभी बता नहीं सकता. I cannot tell you the whole story. I have yet to achieve that, but I will. I'm sure of that. Neurosurgeon, I will tell you first. I'll break it up for you. First of all, you need passion. You need to be really passionate about your job. And every day that you go to the hospital, you should be really involved. You look at your work as a sacred entity. It's something which is sacred, which is pretty much religious. It requires a lot of discipline. I keep on telling my juniors that if you don't follow protocols, mistakes will happen. So you follow discipline. You do the same thing over and over again and again and again, and then you become an expert at it. Okay, if you deviate from it, you will have bad results. So first of all is passion. Second is hard work and discipline. You need to be really disciplined in whatever you do. Everything. I'm not only in neurosurgery. Third thing is acquiring competence by good training. You need to be trained by somebody who is himself very well trained. If you are trained by somebody who is himself not well trained, even that person has no knowledge. There's a lot of delusion. They are deluded that they know it. They don't know it. That's the problem. And this is the biggest problem with a lot of fields in Pakistan. So yes, you need to have competence. I think those are the ingredients to become a neurosurgeon. And then comes how to become great. You don't stop learning. All right. And that's where we suffer as a Pakistani doctors or from the system. There's no accountability. Exactly. So you don't have M&Ls, you don't have neuro-oncology MDTs, for example, or any other MDT, for instance. You don't develop as a neurosurgeon. You don't learn from your mistakes. And this has become so deeply engraved, this problem, that it has resulted in generation of incompetent doctors. They may hate me for saying this, but I'm showing you the mirror. The mirror says you're not trained well, and then you end up training people. So this is generational, and then another generation. So this is where I come in. Which is size of this exactly. This is where I come in. This is where other people come in who have been trained properly, and they want to change the system, and there is a lot of rejection. So this is a normal behavior. You will be rejected. They will hate you. They will try to throw you. Then you either run away. Say, I'm going to persevere. I have the support, every kind of support. You call it financial. I'm very well settled. Family, I have an enormous family. Okay, political contacts, I have got that settled. I have nothing but to improve neurosurgery. So this is a war. So coming back to your question of
Is it talent or
so it is talent, yes, but about talent I'll say this, that you can train anybody except for people to become neurosurgeon. You can train anybody to become a surgeon, but there are people who are not good with their hands. They are misfits into surgical fields as a whole. So if you have got good hands, and you've got creativity, and you can take pressure, I think you have the basic ingredients ready. And then you need to just work hard a little bit. I have a problem with Generation Z, and I am telling you, and yeah, as well. And you cannot say that you can't do it or it's impractical. No. There is a part of society who depend on it. We will not be here tomorrow. The next generation, you will not be here. There will be next generation. They will be worse then. I want you guys to keep that. I'm not going to sound like a feminist here. To keep that masculinity in your mind. You have to be men. You have to be real men. When I say I'm not saying with sarcasm, I'm saying you guys have to live up. We are losing the track. Absolutely becoming weak. We cannot lose it. We have to stay focused. I have worked 36 hours, 40 hours at a trot multiple times in my training. You ask the people here, how many of them they are just set up. They can't work. They are tired. They cannot work 24 hours. What kind of bullshit is that? You have to work hard. This is training. Once you train, then you do whatever you want. But in training, you need to be trained. You have a responsibility.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to take that responsibility. We will crash a society if you take men out of it. If you take that spirit of masculinity out of it.
Exactly.
So we have to be really, focused and think really what we want. It's not video games. As I keep on telling my son also, can't people. I don't like people. You need to be real. This is where it starts. It's from a school boy.
Exactly.
You need to be real. So you need to know how to write. You need to know how to swim. You need to develop all those skills which are necessary for existence. So you cannot run away from it. And that's a problem which I come across even with my own trainees now. You cannot. Some of them are really good. Some of them
They just hide in up.
they are hiding. Yes, that's not good.
सर जब आप सर्जरी करते हैं और फॉर एग्जांपल वो फेल हो जाती है, how do you deal with situation like that? It must be a very difficult situation.
So I'll break it down into a few parts. So I'll tell you what happens inside the war and what happens outside the war, and how do you deal with the family, and what happens to you when you come and you have come to your bed and you want to sleep. There are different parts of it. You know that you are in the operation theater and something did not work. Surgeon knows it all the time. Surgeons know it, that this will work, or this is going to become complicated, or you've already touched a nerve and she's going to have vision loss in one eye. So I had a patient where something of that sort happened quite early in my career. That happened and I had almost a vasovagal attack. Because by the time I realized it was already done. And I had to finish the case. And this happened so the surgery lasted for like 9 hours. And this was hour number 3. This happened pretty fast early. So I had, my vision got blurred. I bringing in my ears, my heart started pumping like really hard. But I had palpitations and I was almost about to collapse. So I moved away from the microscope and sat down. Mistake. But then I had to power myself back, and I went back up to the tumor to remove the whole tumor again. So otherwise I would say, no, I made a mistake, I should stop. And as I completed the surgery, but I knew that I made a mistake. And now comes the stage. Patient made a good recovery, but you know that you have affected her vision. Now you need to talk to the families of the patient. So the way I deal with it is that, and it's different from the rest of the teams, from the rest of the doctors, would they do it differently? I went to the patient's family and I told her the truth. Their surgery is okay, but this is what happened, and I'm sorry for that. I couldn't control myself. It's probably very early in my professional career as well, but you cannot become emotionally attached to your patients also. That's something which I have to train myself also, because you're being honest with the patient's family. Otherwise, there are a number of ways you can just run away from it. But I told them the truth. I still see that patient coming to me.
So I'm curious how they react with you when you say
They were taken aback first, but from the start I was honest with them. They did appreciate the hard work that I've done with them, and the truthfulness and the honesty that I showed to them. Still, they are in agony because of that. Even I am in agony. I see the patient every 3 months. It's really painful, yes. Because but that's part of our job was. I mean, you've got 50 patients, you've got 49 in very good shape, and then there will be one patient who didn't do well, and then that's when you realize that your outcomes are not defined by you. But that's where God comes in. Said you can do all the effort in the world, but I keep the trump card. I pray that the last step I will take. So that kind of has changed me in the way I talk to the patients' families. Also, I tell them, listen, I'll make very honest effort in whatever I but the outcome, it's in Allah's hands. And it's very convenient for me because we are an Islamic society. So most of the patients are Muslims, so they understand that. So that faith has come to be a savior for me, I'll say. But if I was doing this elsewhere, probably it would be very difficult because there are people from all paths of life. There are plus and minus things about every culture. For instance, outside Pakistan, it's easy to make them understand, and they're ready when they are going into a certain kind of surgery. Okay, these things can go on. Here, patients don't want to hear anything. They just take me to the surgery and tell me good things. I don't never said that that's different, but they do have a very good faith. So that's the good part of it. That they do think that whatever happens to them was just destiny, which is partly true. But it's if you are honest, you know that you need to do a good job, and so that's the learning lesson for me. And then whenever such an event happens, I go back. I put myself in front of my trainees and my registrars. Okay, what could I have done different? I go to the book, look it up, change my path in the next case, and that's how I improve. That's when I say we learn every day. That's how we continue to accept.
Absolutely perfect, sir. Sir, to become ultra successful, how should be my morning routine?
Difficult question to answer. Different as different people will say different things. I'll say so. Islam. I'm not saying I'm a very good Muslim. I barely stick to the basic, which is something which deficient in me, and I'm trying to work on it. And inshallah, it will be better. But I'll say Islam has given you a very, very good guideline. And so you've got 5 prayers in that. All right. So you wake up early to pray your Fajr. Something that I still have to do. All right. If you start your day like that, you've got enough time for everything else. So I think you must stick to a discipline. Now, more important than talent is perseverance and discipline. You have to have a routine which, from the start of the day till the end of the day, you should know what you have to do. So it's not like you wake up at 7 at 1 and then at the rest of the month you wake up at 10 o'clock. No, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. Yes, it might work with 1 or 2 out of a million. For instance, there are some billionaires who are making stories. Yes, it would work in one person. Exactly. But if you want to be successful as part of the general population, then I think discipline is extremely important.
Discipline is a key.
Discipline is the key to everything.
So, what's the most memorable pediatric case you have worked on?
Plenty of cases, I'll say, but a few cases which I did in my short career so far here. There was one patient who is still doing very well. His name is S, just to keep it confidential. He was seen by somebody else in XYZ hospital. And there was a problem with the shunt, BP shunt, and the shunt was removed to my shock. And the patient was kept without a shunt, lying on a bed. And the father came to me and he said that, listen, can you please take over the case? And this is the start of my career here in this hospital. And then the patient was shifted over to my care. And I worked with him, and I did close to 10 or 11 surgeries for the kid. He was not, his skin was strange. He was very, very malnourished kind of a kid. His abdomen was not accepting any kind of implant. So I had to change his shunt from his abdomen twice to his heart. and from his heart to his his lung on the left side, and finally the one which worked was on the right side. So I did like so many surgeries for this kid that I didn't give up on it. He went out of the hospital. He was emaciated so much that he was all, he was almost like a mummy, I'll say. And then he came to my clinic after 4 or 5 months, and there is a pediatrician. His name is Dr. Nadeem Khaur, who worked on that kid. The patient came to my clinic and I did not recognize. He was changed, but I saw his father coming, behind him, and I said, "Don't tell me that." That was very, very rewarding. That's one case. Then there was another case who came from a XYZ hospital.
So when you, sorry to interrupt you, when you listen her story like that, how you feel at that moment?
It's very rewarding. That's it's one of the happiest moments. Not many people can appreciate that. It's you have to live that moment to feel it, and what you feel will not be felt by Yahya, because that's a feeling of success. That's where you smell success. That's what sets you apart. That's how things work. There was another patient, no, sorry, just cut it off the shame. There was another patient who was referred to me. They came to my clinic. I saw him, he was in the worst shape of his life. He had a astrocytoma in the third ventricle and was diagnosed as a colloid cyst by a very big professor. His name is like a god here. You know what I'm talking about, right? So that patient came to my clinic and I started working on him. And he had pus in his wound, misdiagnosed as colloid cyst in the third ventricle, which is not acceptable. And then surgery was changed. The planning was probably they were not ready for it, and then they had to make some changes. I don't know what happened, but anyways, the patient came with pus coming out of his wound and from his craniotomy, and he was left like this for a month. He came to me. I admitted him to the ICU. I started working with him. So I cleaned his wound, put in EVD, external ventricular drain, to treat his hydrocephalus and treat his infection. The guy went into a crisis. He crashed. He went into what we call osmotic demyelination or central pontine myelinolysis. He went into that, and he became worse. He became vegetative. And then I kept on working with him. That patient stayed with me for like 45 days. He came out of osmotic demyelination. I kept the families. So one thing which I must say is that never lose hope. So now you give the patient's family hope, things gonna get better, and you keep on doing your hard work. As I said, outcome is in Allah's hand. So this is an example of patient coming back from death. Okay, he was vegetative, not moving at all, and then I kept on talking to the family. Okay, now he's out of infection. We can move him out of the ICU, but he was still vegetative. And then I had put a shunt in him finally after the infection was treated, and it was working. And then I saw that, on one scan he had like unresolved hydrocephalus on the contralateral side. And I decided that I would put another shunt on the other side. And as soon as I put that shunt, the next day patient is okay. He is obeying commands. And then he walked out of the hospital. He back not completely back to his life, but he was sitting with his brothers and recognizing them, and talking to them. From somebody who was almost dead to somebody who was 80% back to that's the BHA. That's another patient. I did not do a lot of things. It's not like an aneurysm clipping or a very fancy, minimal invasive endoscopic guided procedure. No, I did the basics right. The patient did well. That's when I say, don't break protocol. Stick to the basics and you will do it.
सर कम सोने से ब्रेन पे क्या इफेक्ट पड़ता है?
बहुत ज़्यादा असर पड़ता है. ठीक है, तो एक तो कम सोने से आप फ्रेश नहीं होते, उससे आपके रिफ्लेक्सेस सारे स्लो हो जाते हैं. आप नॉर्मल हालतों में जो जो थॉट प्रोसेस रखते हो और जो क्रिटिकल अप्रेजल करते हो चीज़ों के, वो नहीं कर पाओ. ठीक है, तो उसमें you need to have an abundance of neurotransmitters. then सारे connections है, synapses है. ठीक है, वो फायर नहीं करता है. क्या आप सोते नहीं हो तो आप एक तो स्लो हो जाते हो, एक आप डिप्लीटेड होते हो. पहले से न्यूरोट्रांसमीटर्स आपके डिप्लीटेड होते हैं स्टेज में. वह आपका दिल का जोर ही नहीं हो. ठीक है, तो आप रिफ्लेक्सेस स्लो हो गए. आपको एक्स्ट्रा एफर्ट नहीं करोगे, आपके रिजल्ट ख़राब होंगे. ठीक है, आप थके होगे. ठीक है, आप कॉन्सेंट्रेट नहीं कर सकोगे, आप फोकस नहीं कर सकोगे आप। और ये सारी चीज़ें इंतहाई इंपॉर्टेंट हैं, स्पेशली इन फील्ड लाइक लेट्स से न्यूरोसर्जरी एंड वेयर यू वर्क लॉन्ग सर्जरीज। आपको स्टेमिना फिजिकल भी चाहिए और मेंटल स्टेमिना आपको ज़्यादा चाहिए, बिकॉज यू कीप ऑन फाइटिंग विद द डिजीज। ठीक है, वो इट्स वेरी ग्रेटिफाइंग टू रिमूव दैट लास्ट millimeter of tumor, and when you'll get it out and you say, hmm, I'm not going to say the bad words I use in the yeah, but you just said it, but I say that's a victory. That's like, you were on a hike and you kept on hiking, and yes, you just went up and you put your flag down. Exactly. So that's victory. I then that's so you need to have a very good sleep, especially before a long case or before a major event happening. You need to be very well rested. You can't do, like, for instance, you on call the night before, you didn't sleep for the whole night, and then you expect you're not super. Is I not. And you cannot survive on drugs. Your hands will keep on shaking. It is better. You need to have good sleep, eat some good sleep, exercise. I'll not say healthy food. I mean, you eat everything. You're young. Yeah, just say you eat everything. I'm not saying eat fat, bad. I'm saying eat balanced to eat meat. So this red meat, no red meat thing, don't agree with it. And as I know, you can and not. Go in moderation. Yes, don't like keep on eating red meat morning to night. But people have a very balanced diet. Yes, it helps. Yes.
So आजकल जो young Gen Z है, vaping concept बहुत ज़्यादा आम हो गया. How does vaping affect the brain?
So I don't think I can give you a more sophisticated scientific answer because I'm not explored it. But generally speaking, I don't know if it says out of anxiety that this thing has come in, or style maybe, that this thing is just propagated. But obviously, it's something that when hubbly bubbly, hookah. There was something he used to call it some other name. Was very washto. She done what hubble the what you use for now shisha.
Yes.
So it's something similar to that. It sounds exciting. There is smoke and all that, but trust me, there is nothing about vaping.
So what I believe style was that
I think it's more of a style. It's I'm looking like coolness, like that. I got a vaping thing and stuff like that, but it's just useless. It's injurious. Just like every other kind of smoke is, right? It's obviously, further research will show in future the bad side of it. In coming years, you might find out different kinds of pulmonary diseases linked to it, and then it could be too late. So just don't do it.
so there is this problem which is rooted in our Gen Z. I'm thinking I should ask you this question or not, but if I didn't, you will not respect me as a podcaster. So I should. How pornography affect the brain?
Very bad. Very bad. Very. It's a problem. It's a problem everywhere. It's not a problem in Pakistan only. It's everywhere. It's available for free. That's the worst part of it. Number one. Number two, it comes at a point where you really set your roots for success, where you start making a career. All right, you also are becoming aware of what the principles of life are, and it comes at a stage, and it's very very common now. When people, so we didn't know what pornography was. Exactly, we did not know it. We used to have different kind of genres. I'll say a different kind of media available, but not to this extent. Now, I remember that. So everybody has exposure. I had exposure. I became exposed to these things in after my 11th grade. So this was the first time. I say it's a part of your. It's a part of growing up. I'll say that you to become exposed to such stuff at some point because there are all kinds of people around, and you can't hide an eye from it because you are a normal person. But then you have to control it. And I think the most important part here is parent. So I remember, I'll tell you something. I was caught by my mother with some very controversial stuff. And the good thing that she did was not to put cover on it. She exposed me, and she told my dad,
Shout out to your mom.
Of course, yes. So that's when say she's my maker. Okay. So, and that was a very timely done. And my father, what he did to me afterwards, probably would keep it as a secret. Yeah. But that was when that was the cough. So then, so again, young parents, you will become a parent at some point. You will don't cover up for your kids. That's very important. You see something wrong, you fix it there and then. Don't cover up. That's the key to success. So so in contrast, there was another family that I know. I will not say who. They used to cover up, and then there were all kinds of psychological issues. Okay, that become demanding. They become addicted to wealth and lucrative stuff. They don't work hard. It is, they would have all kinds of depression and functional disorders. Okay, which that it's making it up, but so these kind of things. So parents should not cover up. One, second thing, um, I think the best part is that the kids and young people would follow what the environment is like at home. So a lot of responsibility rests with the family to guide. For instance, for me to guide my kid the right way. Okay, so the kid needs to know what are the principles of an Islamic way of life. Okay, the Jummah time, the Muslim, the enjoyment there is all they give a direct issue that actually come doctors, they are working people, mother and father both are working. You should not just leave your kid to the servants or to let's say to a housemate, take kids. That's completely wrong. Your kids, your responsibilities. They fail, you fail. You fail. So even they, to keep an oversight is very important. It does affect. So the effect on the brain of this thing is a very bad one. It will take the motivation out of you. It will take the energy out of you. You would not be a normal person. Okay. Physically, even sexually, emotionally, your behavior will be all raw. Okay. And this is one part of it. And then comes the drugs and all kinds of extramarital things. And, it's a big piece of junk that should be is thrown away out. It's been created to destroy societies and say, absolutely. Okay, so it's there for a reason. Okay. And they're very successful at it. But it's a truly and it's an industry and they are working day and night to keep it going. And the best part is that, so when I say Islamic way of life, this is very important that we stay away from this kind of bullshit. Multiple levels, again, break it down to 3 levels. I'd say one is personal level, other is family level, the other is government level. So personal level, you have to have a motivation and drive to prevent yourself from going there. And that's where religion becomes very important. So, you say your prayers, you keep yourself busy. So people ask me that, you don't exercise often. I said, don't get time to exercise. So you're that busy that a very important part of your life is getting affected by your work, for instance. So you have to balance it. So when you're working and you're taking care of your health, you're taking care of your family, you're helping people, you don't have time for any kind of bullshit. So that's one. That's your personal stuff. And when your faith is very strong, these things will fall into complete, background, will not matter at all. Also, get married early. Okay. Think that's the savior also. Very important. And then get kids early also, because then you're taking care of kids. So all of this will go away. That's personal effort. Second is parental care. Parents have to be really vigilant to protect their kids from this kind of stuff. And as I said, don't go up. You gotta expose them. And you see something wrong, just embarrass them, and they will not do it again. And motivate them to stay away. That's second thing. Third thing is put a ban at government level. Put a ban on this. Put a ban on VPNs. Nobody should even use it for watching whatever they watch. You just stop it completely. You cannot change the world. The world will keep on cooking on these kind of things. This is created for a purpose. But what your government can do, being an Islamic state, for instance, is to put a complete ban on it. And there are ways to punish people. And I think there something of that sort need to be done. Uh, but I think that it's been done. It's been done. They can monitor, and but who would monitor and what? So there is a big potential of this being misused, this kind of information, and being used for coercion and criminal purposes. So there's a lot of potential for your society breaking down in that part. So there has to be some kind of a governmental yes effort to curtail it. Non lo khubara kola più Cristiano. That in my mind, I'm the best. And the best. Exactly. It doesn't care about messy fiction. And that's what defines you as a person. You know, in your work. You choose people who think are doing a good job for you, and you choose people who you think that they are augmenting your ability to achieve those goals. And so you surround yourself with a very good lot, and you stay focused first. So one point agenda, you want to be the best, and you think like that. And it's not only thinking, because it's not arrogance, because then you work on it. Okay, yeah, so it's not like Mr. So is doing a certain procedure endoscopically, so I should do it. Also, no, it's not this way. This is not this way. It's going after it and doing two extra procedures who Mr. X is not doing. You're better than it. So you go to any limit to keep fighting, keep pushing, and the aim is one, to be at the top.
At the top भी this
To be lowest.
क्या ज़्यादा फ़ोन यूज़ करने से या स्क्रोलिंग से हमारी बॉडी पोस्चर इफेक्ट हो सकती है?
Absolutely. So body level के आप बहुत सारी चीज़ें, मतलब आपके body parts जैसे neck, for instance, you're using your phone like this, you're looking down, flexing the neck for hours. You don't even realize hours, and scrolling, make sure, and you're moving your, going through it, and your mind is flipping every time. This is a very wrong thing which is developing now. It's wrong in the sense that because you get used to a sort of pleasure which comes from a shifting of your attention. Your attention span is basically seconds. Up, right? And this is what's happening. And that's very, very bad. That's not good, because when we were, I'm not saying anything against the current lot, this is how the world is now, but we have to control it. So when we were medical students, we had books, Guyton, Ganong, and all that, and we used to buy them. Now everything is available on the internet, right? I don't, nobody can blame. That's how the world has evolved, right? And that's how the new generation is having a different, set of diseases and different set of problems. It's generational, and my generation was different. Your generation is different. Yes, it is. Everything comes with a problem. For instance, we have having glasses. All right, we used to be, with your shama jala ke to pata nahi lantain laga ke to dekhe usse baat. Is that it? Ha, wo hum shama to nahi jala sakte na. Basically, that means that we were in a different time, we were doing different kind of work. Now you are different. All right, so now you've got so much going. For example, just take the example of AI, ChatGPT, and Perplexity, as I mentioned. You've got an enormous amount of work done in minutes. All right, so that is efficiency. So you have to be open to it. You have to accept it.
Can you use your own advantage?
Exactly. But then comes the problem that creativity will die. There is a computer working for you. Your creativity is no more, right? There is a computer who is solving all your problems. This will still make the world a better place, but the genuinity about the thought process and creating something, that will die.
A human touch
Human mind.
खलास हो गया सारा.
That's fact. So there is somebody I just saw again who come to I saw a short, and I don't remember who was it. Probably it was Robert J. Patterson, professor from Canada. Yeah, he's a professor of psychology, and I highly recommend. If you ask me about books, I'm not a reader, but I'll tell you, read his book. Jordan Peterson. Yes, sorry, I said Robert Peterson. Jordan Peterson. Yes. Jordan is one of my favorite people, right? So he speaks a lot, and sometimes I feel like this is verbal diarrhea, but he makes sense out of things. His words, they formulate thoughts, and that has sort of changed me also, because I used to just throw stuff, and now I think and then speak. So he said that he was reading a book on Nikola Tesla. He was actually reading an autobiography of Nikola Tesla, and Nikola Tesla's mind was different. He used to make things within minutes in his mind, invent. He was an inventor. He invented electricity, the AC current, the alternate current, and many different. He was a competitor of Thomas Edison. They were both big rivals. Nikola Tesla used to create things in his mind, and his mind used to work so fast that sometimes he could not keep track of one invention because another thought would start, and he would think down to the details of the smallest screwed end wire. How would he put it to make that? So you get my point? So that's the detail. This creativity is dying. Those inventions happened centuries ago. We have to have people like that in our psyche. We have one in the form of this guy, Elon Musk, but he's one person. So, all right, so we need to have Isaac Newton. You need to have, what's his name? Einstein. Yeah. So Eisenhower. There's people like that, right? So they will be very few when machines take over.
So what do you think about Elon Musk? You mentioned
Gifted guy. Yes. Gifted, privileged, chosen, hardworking, intelligent, obsessive, arrogant. Another bad words comes into my mind. I'm not going to say that. But obviously, the biggest thing, I think if I have to put everything together, he's I don't know. He is everything. He's got the looks. He is wealthy as hell. He's got one of the most intelligent brains ever, scientifically. He's obsessed with his work. He puts in the extra hours. The one thing which I really like about him is that he likes children. He's got lots of kids. He likes family and think he says some. But I think from philosophical point of view, I would not be somebody listening to Elon Musk's sermon. I think I'll take a few things from him, but not everything. Not everybody can be Elon Musk. He was gifted. He was in the right time at the right place. Got lucky. Things work. There are a lot of people who are working as hard as Elon Musk, but not everybody has that kind of luck.
Sir, you specifically mentioned scrolling in social media effect, and it caused a lot of problem like mental health and depression and anxiety. How we can fight problem like these?
I think just limit your use screen time. Yes. I think what we are missing, especially in a city like Peshawar, is a lot of activity that we can do, but we're not able to do. So when I was in New York, I realized that there is a big difference in the kind of lifestyle that we have, and they also don't have money. So there were residents there, and one of them was Andrew. I remember him. He was a hiker, and he was a marathon runner. Okay, so you can do it in New York. Okay, you can go hike. You can go into the most beautiful places safely, with obviously a bunch of people, and you can go marathon running. And so it's also the culture, around you. And I see people, and I'm sure you have seen people. Kita pa sa kuno mananastikan, pati kusa kichelar sino to jisar ramani karta na tata bada takari. Uzga khil nas pe pa kurso bande. To bawai chiyara ta kam konde. Kar nishtade. Abe away ki predama. Kanda this is cultural. This is culture. Is a cultural issue that you have. When population is it has destroyed everything. Don't rush there. You tension over there, and everybody trying to get the meat, the loaf of bread. The best तरीका मान लेना साथ में पूरे चीज़ माता रोटा इन रश what you mark, and it's a society that you cannot blame it. The bare minimum मान told you war birthdays yatte lots of reasons you can talk about it. Being even as people, we have values, and unfortunately certain things have become norms of life. Our that hard work, not doing hard work, being lazy about it, not looking for opportunities. There are no opportunity anyways, but we're not even looking for. Absolutely. The period cultural shift te padegi. Al tak badau, you would be surprised. The work ethic. You would be surprised. The US sort of would be see the kalko sara. They've got lots of resources, but they're all 6 feet or they've got physical attributes, men and women both. They're all guragan. Wealth and kafi de wasara, paise wasara dividi. Yet they will exercise. Diction and the cultural shift was intihai gata paisa. They don't exercise. They have one of the highest rates of obesity. Why? Because lots of money is there, and they don't want to develop, an aram personality.
Again, their cultural difference. Cultural difference is a big issue here.
Munga kwala che communa rasti. Munga didn't have a masters the Muna rasti. Be Khabara the Silla, we are not developing as a nation. Take show bills, we go back further and you find out that, there is a problem with our culture, there is a problem with a lack of nationality, being proud of what you do. Punjabi, Potun, I did the Islam, the Dhanamasham open, so Slagabaruzi,
Exactly. Sir, वो evolving culture नहीं है.
nothing. They're not Mung as a Uftanaka watch, we are very conservative. Tikshokana, Matlab Dache,
Idea.
we're not, we know. And this CNG station, because I was a shock. What kind of culture is this? So you do something in create something new, create somebody when you tell the cues with the let's say I want to hike. Tata Avenishta, Sumra safety. And a safety over peace nesta can lot over, no less nesta. As a nation, as a tribe, as a Pohtun Walit Pohtanoto, they don't like constraints, they don't like laws, especially when they're core quaki bagan burzi, which a bar large shino participant kiba burzi. What kind of behavior is this? Where does this come from? As soon as the plane crosses into Pakistan, I've seen both sides of it. There are pura paline ki panas. Flying ki over. Or you think that the horror she ba asbia we balkisma kisa. The cultural nagadekana, or like a pull sheet is pakataldi. Exam issue habia katara health over it. No pali ke Namorawita, Dugar, yes, I have this. They use Dugar in everything, and I hate it absolutely to the core. When they do it I shout at them. You're not seen men in my operation theater, your theater, literally a drama theater, yeah. Because I said, what are you doing? Like they don't have the sense of how to move around in the OR, and you have to train everybody. Imagine I was clipping an aneurysm, and microsurgical clipping of an aneurysm is one of the most complex neurosurgical procedures ever done. I was doing it here, and then I stopped taking that much stress and tension because it's just bad for my head. I was doing it with an LHV restriction because there was no ODA. So they had to hire somebody I don't know from where, and I had no assistant, not a trainee medical officer, not a registrar, and I clipped it. I was talking to somebody, I said, maybe we can put it like Guinness World Record books. I did it in the least possible resources with everything available to me preset. If I tell you the details, it was just you. I was alone. The aneurysm ruptured. It was just you and the patient. Aneurysm ruptured. Yes. I look the clips. When you use clips, I dissected everything. Tissue, and I had a mail trolley ready for me with all the clips. And I thought of these come some clips as the maloma become mata hama pratic if I have one jogamata problem for last one section but then I'll click around. And I was like, what is happening? That was a very disappointing time. But I was victorious. I clipped it at the end and the patient did well. And when I went next morning, all the people were sitting. I said, you guys never came to my ward. You are fine. All of you guys were waiting for me to fail. I did not. And I'm thinking that victory sign. That's when you are victorious. And when you have such a big case done, and then you know that you're all conspiring against you, and you do well. That's a relief. That's something else out of this world. And those are a few moments that you cherish. But then you also take a lot of shit psychologically because you've been stressed so much with that. You take that amount of stress, open somebody's brain up, literally. It's like diffusing a time bomb, and then you come out of it without touching the rest of the brain, and the patient doesn't walks out of the hospital. What's beautiful feeling.
Congratulations, sir. That's successful story, sir. What's one piece of advice you can share with my viewers?
One piece of advice, I'll say 3 words. Self-discipline, integrity, hard work.
Can you share your top 3 books recommendation?
So I think I touched on it, and if anybody would ask me the same question again, I would say I don't read books. I literally don't have time for why things that there are parts of books that I've gone through, except but I've never completed a book, and I don't remember what was the last book. So for a long time, I wanted to read Jordan B. Peterson's book on life. Don't remember what it's called, but I thought I would buy that book, and I've seen it in the bookshelves as well, in the libraries, many places I've seen it, but I've never bought it because I've watched so many of his podcasts. I'm more of a I try to hear things. So I would listen to things, but I've not bought any books. I'm probably not gonna tell you any book that probably Jordan P. Peterson's speeches.
Sir, where can viewers find you online?
A couple of places. I'll say, so my Facebook page is very busy. Recently, I had 150 or 160 friends, and now it's like 1,500 or something since I came to Pakistan. And I have to do it because there are people who want to share things, who want to follow you. You can't stop them. There are like maybe 500 requests still pending, and I just literally randomly do it. So, I don't have a TikTok. I'm not a TikToker. I did make an account, but don't use it. Um, um, I have an Instagram, but it's very placed dead. I think the most active page is Facebook, just because I've been using it for a while. In 2008 or 9, I started using it. I think that's the best way to find me. I also have a website which is in the process. It will be launched once I'm free from some other stuff, but that's not active yet. But the best way probably to communicate with me is through Facebook.
Thank you so much, Dr. Adnan. It was such a nice podcast. Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you. Good thing, guys.